Hello everyone, welcome to ECE 105 Curriculum Development. I wanted to share a quick quote. Show me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn, by Benjamin Franklin. First, let's begin with our student question of the week. I'm moving, can I do my externship in another state? No problem. What is most important is that you began with CCC in the ECE program in a state that was priorly approved. From there, you are welcome to go to many states in the United States as well as overseas. Please do get that okayed first, though, just to be sure. I do have a couple overseas students as we speak. So that's the great flexibility of online learning. Today we're going to be going over Chapter 1. And I just wanted to bring up that I will be covering quite a bit of information. So if you feel like I'm going too fast, you're welcome to pause the video to take down notes or give you a little bit more time to read the content on the screen. First, developmentally appropriate practice. What is it? We'll use this definition quite a bit in ECE. It's usually abbreviated as DAP, D-A-P. DAP programs are based on the accumulation of data, research, and facts about children of different age groups, and we go back many years with our research so that we can offer programs that are developmentally appropriate. We don't want to teach at the inappropriate level. Early childhood teachers must be steeped in child development knowledge, and that's one of your purposes of being in these courses, to learn a little bit more about child development, maybe some items that you did not know. Children must be considered in the context of their family, culture, community, past history, and present circumstances. So with developmentally appropriate practice, we take the whole child and the whole family into account, because we know all of these things affect the child that we're trying to educate. What is the teacher in a developmentally appropriate practice? I love this. This was written by Alan A. Gladhorn. What is the teacher? A guide, not a guard. What is learning? A journey, not a destination. What is discovery? Questioning the answers, not answering the questions. What is the process? Discovering ideas, not covering content. What is the goal? Open minds, not closed issues. What is the test? Being and becoming, not remembering and reviewing. And what is school? Whatever we choose to make it. So I really like this idea of how a developmentally appropriate classroom might be set up and how a teacher might exist within it. Some of the basic principles of development are: all the domains of development and learning, physical, social, emotional, cognitive, are important, and that they are closely interrelated. Learning occurs in sequences. Not every child doesn't necessarily develop in the same sequence or the same rate, but there are definite sequences that we can identify. For instance, a child generally learns how to crawl before they learn how to walk. They generally learn how to walk before they learn how to run. Children learn in different ways and in different rates. And from studying learning styles, we know that some children learn better by hearing, by reading, or by doing. We need to be able to identify those learning styles within our children. And of course, every child develops at their own rate. We don't have a cookie cutter assembly line for our kiddos. Also, development and learning result from a dynamic and continuous interaction of growth and experience, how the child is growing and what else happening in their life. Early experiences have profound effects, and actually we can go back to the child's development in the womb. So we have cumulative or possible delays of child development and learning, and optimal periods exist for certain types of development and learning to occur. So we need to be aware of those periods. Development proceeds from simple to complex. And a good example of that is a child will generally learn how to move their arm and move their hand, such as clenching a fist, before they learn how to use the pinch or grasp and maybe grasping a pencil. So from simple to more complex, usually big muscles and then the smaller muscles. Here's an example of a developmentally appropriate practice. A spiral notebook with an attached pen, accessible to the children, so generally on a lower table, is located by where the parents sign in daily so that the children can choose to sign in to if they wish. And can't you just picture this? How does this benefit the child? Conveys that they are welcome in this environment. It conveys we have thought about them too, and not just their caregivers. Makes them part of the process and the daily routine, allows them to imitate adult behavior and roles, serves as a literacy activity, and eliminates waiting with nothing to do. So you can see that this simple item, this spiral notebook, can have so many benefits to the child. Here we have a young one signing in. This was maybe, I don't know, a 1.5-year-old child doing some scribbling on a piece of paper, but this is their way of signing in at daycare. Here we have one that's a little bit older. This might be a 3-year-old, and he is copying his name to the side of where his name is printed. So loosely repeating what's there. And then down below is another example. It's a little more precise. So we actually have the name printed out, and they can follow the dots to reproduce their name. And this would be great for preschool or kindergarten. So signing in. Some more basic processes. Children develop best when they have a secure, safe, and positive environment. We want to provide that for them, and we hope that they have that at home as well. Development and learning occur in and are influenced by multiple social and cultural contexts. So everything that goes on around the child can have a big impact on how they develop. Children are always mentally active in seeking to understand the world around them, and we need to consciously remember that in everything that we say and everything that we do in the classroom. Also, basic principles continued. Play is an important vehicle for developing self-regulation, as well as language, cognition, and social competence. We learn so much from play, and it's an important part of the day. Development and learning advance when children are challenged to achieve at a level just slightly beyond the current mastery level. We don't want to frustrate them, but we want to give them a little bit of a challenge. And also when they have opportunities to practice this new skill that they're working on acquiring. Children's experience shape their motivation and their approach to learning, such as being persistent, having initiative, and flexibility. So we want to give them positive experiences with learning early on so that they will hopefully hold on to that positive attitude towards learning. So we're helping set the stage for how well they may do in grade school, junior high, and even high school. So how can we make the classroom more developmentally appropriate? We can have an art area that is open all day long. We can have Play-Doh always out because it's a great way of developing fine motor skills. We can have a child-size broom or whisk broom, and also tissues and paper towels that they can have access to. And the main reason being that they can help clean up the classroom, and maybe they've had a little spill and they can clean that up themselves. And it's really important that they develop this self-help skill. We don't want them to be dependent on us for every little thing that happens. We want them to develop a little bit of independence there. Sand or water play should always be available, and if you're accredited or licensed program, you will definitely have sand or water area. Use conflicts between children as opportunities for learning. through problem solving. So we know that we can't do away with all conflicts, but we can definitely use them as a learning experience, and we want to always think about that and how we react to it. Here's a few examples of the classroom. We've got a young lady cleaning up a table, again, working on her self-help skills. We have a listening area set up for our auditory learners. And we have a playground down here that seems to be very developmentally appropriate for this age level. It's the right size, the right materials, just the right amount of things for them to do on the outdoor playground. Here we have two teachers that are actively engaged with students, and that's what we want you to do. You're not going to be sitting at your desk, taking care of paperwork and sort of ignoring the children when they're doing some art time or maybe center time. We want the teachers to be an active part of that experience. And down here we've got a young boy playing with blue cups, and literally hours of learning that can happen with these, from stacking to putting different materials inside and outside of the cup. Very low cost, but always a good time for young children. So keep that in mind. How can we make your classroom more developmentally appropriate? The easel should be open daily, just as we talked about before in the art area. Do not force children to participate in activities. We want them to have choices. It's very important that our 2s, 3s, and 4s have choices of what to do, not being told what to do, because it allows them to gravitate towards the things they're really interested in. Bring in real objects for exploration. For example, you might have the fire truck that comes to the center so they can see it and get on it. Do activities in small groups versus large groups with younger children. Do not cut out patterns for children. We want them to do it themselves and work on those great scissor skills. Allow children to do what they can for themselves. We want to develop, again, independence in what they do. Here's a great list of when you're planning. Following are questions to assess how appropriate an activity may be. And I won't go through all of these, but of course you're welcome to pause the video now if you'd like to read each of them. Is it on their level? Is it flexible? Does it help them think and explore? Does it allow them to socialize? Are they given choices? Is it hands-on? These are all fantastic questions. Does it reflect the goals and philosophy of the center? And each center will have their own goal and philosophy, usually printed out so that parents have access to it. Now, what about our program? And what if it's not appropriate? Maybe we're using developmental practices that are above, below, or below what the child is expected to achieve. What can happen is definitely if you're asking them to do things constantly that are above their level, they may have problems with self-esteem because they're not achieving what they think they should be. They may have problems with self-control, maybe having issues with anger too, because again, they're being frustrated. It can cause stress, and it can have an effect on later academics, that maybe they decide they don't like school. So we want to be really careful with what is offered and how we interact with our students in our classroom. So we're really setting the stage for their future. And lastly, are there any questions? And if they are, if you have something that you're unsure of, please email me, call, text, or Facebook, and I will get back with you. Please remember to submit your summary to get your live lecture points as well. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a fantastic day.